And 3, 2, 1,
Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go! Go!
Alright, so Game 3 Panthers Capitals. Feeling I've had a lot of Sudafed. Let's just let it that's how I'm feeling, medicated. Absolutely must have this game, Panthers. Tom Wilson is out again. We've kept the lineup the same, exactly as it should be, with the exception of, look, let's just put it this way. I hope Weegar plays well. We'll just leave it at that. All right? We're going to have to come out here, though, and start off just like we ended up, right? I want to see the energy. I want to see the waves. I don't want to see 10, 15 minutes of meh hockey and giving, Washington an opportunity. We have to at least get an early goal to give ourselves some breathing room, because eventually, Washington's going to, they're going to wake up. This going to be, this one smells, I want to say 5-2 Panthers, and I still am feeling 5-2 Panthers, but one of these two games, I have a feeling that Washington's going to go to overtime. Maybe that's going to be Monday's game. Momentum is everything. All right? We have it. Don't do anything stupid to give it back to him. Looks like Samsonov is in. That's an interesting decision. As the Panthers found out last year, when you start changing goaltenders in Game 3 because of performance, a lot of times it doesn't work out so well for you. So, all right. That's for the 5 goals we're getting. So, all set to come on and say we have played a masterpiece of a first period on the road. We're taking hit. Ovechkin tries to level Huberdeau. He does exactly what you need to do. Come down and shove the puck right down Samsonov's throat. It's 1-0. Ovechkin's out there trying to make up for Tom Wilson not being on the ice. They're not going to intimidate us. This isn't 2015. We finally get a power play. We don't make too much happen. And then the only way Washington can win this series happens again. Mackenzie Weegar. Now, I'm not necessarily blaming the way that the penalty was called on him in terms of this, things getting stuck in his skate. That puck needs to be dumped in. It's called smart hockey. Stop trying to stick handle the puck when you're the last man back. Power play is getting ready to expire. You dump the puck in. You're already in the zone. Just dump it in. But he's not capable. And so part of me wants to say Mackenzie Weegar will be the reason why if we lose this series, but it's not. It's our coach. Now, he already absolutely single-handedly put Washington back on the map in Game 1, and he did it here again in Game 3. And the winner of Game 3 goes on to win the series a hell of a lot of times. If our coach doesn't have the stones to move this guy down in the lineup, he shouldn't be our coach. He shouldn't be re-signed. Because at some point, you have to look at how your team is playing and recognize that one guy is screwing it up for everybody. It don't happen all that often, but you saw it last year. You saw it, at the end of Yandel's career with us. He was single-handedly costing us goals and games. You got to get this kid off the ice. This can't continue. Now, luckily, it's only 1-1, and the best thing that could happen for us is that period ended. Absolute waste of a good road period, but at least we're not behind. And I don't think we've played our best hockey. And I think if Washington thinks they're going to intimidate us by hitting, no, that's not going to work. Okay? But we went out and got Ben Sherrod for a reason. He was on the top pair last year. Got Montreal to the finals. He must be kind of good. You've got Forsling and Montour who are ridiculously responsible with the puck. Why do we keep giving Mackenzie Weegar this responsibility that he consistently butchers? This is on the coach now. Now, after game one, you want to give the kid one more shot, fine. But if this continues, this is not on. It's not on Weegar anymore. This is on the coach. Damn it! I hate. You guys know. I don't want to be right about this, but Stu and I have been bitching about it all year long. Weegar was going to do this and cost us goals. Everybody wants to talk about the offensive stuff that he brings. That goes away in the playoffs. The games are too tight. You can't outscore those problems. So, it's 1-1. I still feel like we're going to win this game. I do not feel like this team, we've seen this team come back. I know Washington's going to have the momentum. Absolute. Just pissed off doesn't even cover. I know Stu's head is exploded. He's at home right now picking his head up. He's got pieces of his brain all over the floor. I can't believe this kid did it again. And I'm not saying the penalty. I get the penalty part. But they should have never been in that position. You dump the puck in. It's smart hockey. And just like Matheson wasn't capable, Weegar's not capable of smart hockey. We got to make them pay for this in a second. It's even. The game is tied. I need to see that this coach recognizes the problem. This kid has to be broken up from Ekblad. Put Sherrod up there. If you're not going to bench him, if it's me, I limit his ice time, and he's not on the ice for game 4. We got guys that won't screw up, and that's all we need. It's literally all we need from our defense. It's just don't screw it up. And he can't. He's not capable. So it's 3-1 Washington after 2. Now I could go on another Weegar rant. The third goal, second goal, whatever. One of them was he was deep in our zone, had the puck stolen from him, and then it led to the goal. I believe that was goal number 3. Yeah. But I'm going to go way back. I'm going to go way back to last year and the year before that. If you've watched this channel long enough, you know I usually have takes and opinions that ruffle some feathers. People think I'm absolutely batshit crazy. But I'm not. So, Alexander Barkov. And go watch the replay. Please do watch the full episode. Alexander Barkov misses his shot. Samsonov stones him. And Barkov, our captain that is supposed to lead us to a Stanley Cup. Barkov hangs his head, looks down the ice, watches the puck start getting into the zone, slowly slumps his shoulders, and slowly starts to trudge off, waves for the change. And while guys are desperately waiting for his ass to get back to the bench so that new guys can get onto the ice, Washington scores. I've gotten a lot of shit in this space over the years for saying Barkov shrinks in these moments. started way back, way back when in my first year when I was on the podcast with Jacob, because I had said Barkov needed to be better, and they all, they didn't really rip me, but I was ripped for that one. And over the years, whenever I've mentioned it, oh my God, how can you criticize Alexander Barkov? Go watch the replay for yourself, and you tell me if that's a guy that's leading this team to anything but another first-round exit. Now, we might win this game. I don't know. We've come back before, but we are losing this game in the same manner and form as we lost to the Islanders and we lost to Tampa. The same mistakes, same players showing terrible body language, coasting, intermittent effort. The same exact problems that we've had continue now. During the regular season, we have so much talent, we can outscore those problems. Doesn't work that way in the playoffs, does it? So, we're fixing to lose game 3. And if we put any more periods like that together, will we win another game in this series? Don't know. We're not playing smart hockey. So I can bitch about Weegar if he's going to continue to make those mistakes and the coach is going to continue to put him out there despite having an array of talented, reliable defensemen. That's on our coach. If our coach can watch the captain shrug his shoulders, hang his head, and coast, not even coast, just barely moving to the bench while the puck is going down to the other end, if our coach can watch that and not absolutely give a blasting to that man during this intermission, well, then the thing that Stu and I were most concerned about is probably what's fixing to happen. And that is, when Q left, so did our real opportunity to win a cup. Because with all the talent that this team has, and even with the experience of playoff guys that we've put into the lineup with Drew and Sherratt, Bennett, same exact issues still remain. It's not acceptable. That play, and I know it'll never happen, but that play should be just plastered everywhere. So, I know I'm going to see people in the comments, and maybe we'll come back and win, and people will say, you're an idiot, you gave up, etc. I'm not giving up. I'm just reporting what I'm seeing so far. We, as Panther fans, we've seen this for a long time. And we're getting goalied by Samsonov in addition to it. So, alright. Best we can do is hope to get this sucker to overtime. But we lose this game in the manner in which it's going. Yeah, I got nothing. I know I know you're all waiting. I used to enjoy, when we were bad, seeing People looking forward to the rant. Yeah. Another year where we're missing the playoffs or whatever. Crappy game in the middle of January. Sure, why not? Fun. This ain't fun. And it's not fun for any of us. It's not fun for me, George, Randy, Goldie, anybody who's making content, writing articles. It's not fun. This is not fun. And what's worse for me, and I'm not making it personal, but what's worse for me is that we're losing in the manner and for the reasons why I have warned about, and Stu and I have warned about all year, and things that I've been complaining about for years. Now, you saw Alex Ovechkin out there tonight, and I realized that he is a special player. That is a captain. What I saw happening to Barkov tonight was him being easily shoved off the puck like he always does in the postseason. See him with dejected body language like he usually does during the postseason. See him devoid of emotion and energy. And then you look at Ovechkin. And how can you look at those two players and think we're winning anything? We're getting blown out by Washington using their 1A, 1B goaltender, whose numbers weren't great, without Tom Wilson. Blown out of the building, out of the District of Columbia, just blown completely out. The level of embarrassment is unspeakable. And there's I mean, granted, I know that after the first period, the rant was Weegar. In that moment, that's where the blame lied. We had momentum. That's the second game. Weegar's given the Capitals back momentum, single-handedly. There's no getting around that. But let's put it this way. We just got blown out 6-1. We got blown out 6-1 on the road in a playoff game, the rubber game, and we left our timeout in our hands. Our coach didn't even think maybe at some point here, hey, guys, can we talk for a minute? Can we settle this down? Nope. No can do. The failure is so widespread and so monumental that if anybody wants to say in the comments it's not all Weegar's fault, I can completely understand and agree with that. And you look at, Bobrovsky gave up 5 goals. Obviously, one was an empty net. I got no fault with Bob tonight. Can't think of any goal that he gave up that you're shaking your head at going, he's got to have that one. I'm watching Huberdeau get frustrated, take stupid penalties. I'm watching Barkov take the knee like he does every damn postseason. As soon as he gets the puck, doesn't matter if it's Mickey Mouse playing defense. Mickey Mouse knocks Barkov off the puck. Barkov will lose an edge, go down on a knee. and the puck is out of the zone. The speed that we have with Duclair, Bennett, is completely neutralized because Washington's clogging up the zone. And the only way for us to break through that zone is to score a goal. Ekblad's goal the other night changed things. And then we kept adding to it. Tonight, Huberdeau's goal changed things. Things were opening up, but we weren't connecting on our passes early. And then Weegar said, nah, here you go, Washington. Have some momentum. Here you go. It worked so well for you guys in Game 1. I feel bad. Have Game 3. Now, everything else set aside, Samsonov absolutely goalied us. He had a hell of a game. But if you've been watching the Panthers all year, he only faced maybe 10 minutes of actual Panther-esque offense. Especially, when we came out, it was only 3-1 to start the third period. But the effort we came out with to start the third period was, to call that effort ass is an insult to ass. It's just pathetic. And anywhere else you watch or anything else you see, you're going to hear the standard viable excuses as to why we lost that game. We lost that game because these guys just may never get it. Ovechkin has it. Stamkos, Kucherov, they have it. In the big games, they know how to elevate their level of play. Our captain is a great regular season player. But come postseason, the same thing happens every year. And we thought maybe that would change if we added enough other players to the roster. Giroux, Bennett, Sherratt, Gudas, Marchman, Reinhardt. Guys that know how to go out there and play tough, smart, defensive hockey and not shrink in the postseason. But between lacking a emotional leader like Ovechkin and lacking a veteran coach like Q or Laviolette, however you pronounce his name, we lack those two things. And those are pretty much the most important things come postseason, with the exception of playing smart defense and having a goalie that's going to do what Samsonov did. It's not a knock on Bob. Bob, this game has nothing to do with Bobrovsky here. Zero. And so we've all sold ourselves this bill of goods because we scored 340 whatever goals during the season. Because when we get up to nothing, teams a lot of times would kind of lay down, or they'd give us plenty of room to run our offense. And we look great. We look fantastic. Best Panther team ever. But it's not translating during the playoffs. Playoffs is defense, goaltending, and timely scoring. Now, your defense's job in the playoffs, you have two jobs in the playoffs. Don't do anything stupid, and don't do anything really stupid. That's all you have to do in the playoffs. You don't cross that off of our list. We don't have that. Not as a complete, cohesive unit. There's leaks. You need elite players, or even very good players, that know how to elevate their level of play in the playoffs. Our two best players, in Barkov and Huberdeau, haven't figured that out yet. They haven't figured it out yet. And what's worse is, while Huberdeau pretty much looks kind of the same, he took the hit from Ovechkin and scored. Barkov shrinks in these moments every time. And I know they got the one goal last game, but that's not a playoff. That's not how it works. What you saw on the ice tonight with Ovechkin. Tom Wilson is out. Ovechkin says, no problem. Tonight, I'm Ovechkin and Tom Wilson at the same time. That's a captain. We don't have one. And we don't have a coach. Oh, we might have a coach that eventually will be good and grow into the job. And I'm not saying he's a bad coach, but there's a big difference between being a good coach with a team that's ridiculously more talented than most of the other teams in the NHL, and a guy that knows how to win in the postseason. And I'm seeing stuff out there on the ice that I don't think Q would put up with. At least Q last year had the knowledge and the stones to bench Yandel. Didn't work, oddly enough. But he made the move. You want to wake this team up? You want to shake their ass and say, hey, this is unacceptable? You bench Mackenzie Weegar. And it's not entirely because of his play. His play is deserving of a benching. That's fine. But it's not like we don't have guys that could step in and not make stupid mistakes on defense. The point to possibly benching a Weegar is to slap these guys upside the head and say, hey, if you don't perform, you're not going to play. Something has to happen. But I suspect, well, what did Bruno say after the first game? We sort of self-destructed. You could call that here again today. So that's 2 out of 3 games this team is completely self-destructed. And we think we're going to win a cup. I'm sure in the post game, I'm missing it now like I always do, but it won't surprise me if it's something like, well, they got the momentum there at home. It got away from us. We'll get back at it Monday and make the adjustments. And in Burnett's defense, there's only so much he can do if Barkov is going to have body language like he did before the goal was scored, mind you. That sequence that I'm talking about, where Barkov hung his head and sluggishly and dejectedly went to the bench so slow that guys couldn't get off in time to get back. The dejection was simply from not scoring the goal. Washington hadn't scored yet. They scored because he was so slow to get to the bench that guys couldn't change without really risking a too many men on the ice penalty. Go watch it. Go watch it. I've never seen anything like that in my life in a playoff game. But it seems like every year I'm complaining about Barkov shrinking like a violet in the playoffs. Every year. This same manner that we lost to the Islanders, the same manner in which we lost to Tampa. What I see right now is I see Washington's going to take a 3-1 lead on Monday. We will find a way to save our season at home. And then Washington will take this in 6 at Washington. That's what I see right here. If you see something different, I would love to see how, unless you're going to tell me it's going to be over in 5. And then this leads to the most obvious questions: is if this collection of players cannot win a round, what's going to happen? This fan base is abused already. Fan base is abused already. Everybody's bought in. Everybody bought in. And we assumed, because we had such a great season, that the problems that had presented in the playoffs in the previous seasons were fixed. But they're not. They're not. You're still making stupid mistakes on defense at the worst possible times. And our best players are still shrinking in the biggest moments. And I could complain about Brunette, and I do. But what's he supposed to do about that? What are you going to do? Bench Barkov? That's not going to happen. I don't even think Hugh would make that. And I'm not saying what he did is a benchable offense, but how do you send a message if your captain's going to do that? It's a frickin' mess. It's an absolute disaster. So, that's it. I got a blasted migraine from this. My stomach is a mess between all the medication and this game. Stu and I will be back in the morning. Thought about doing the review now. My head just hurts too much. I am fairly certain that whatever Stu and I would record right now, I wouldn't be able to post because I'm that pissed off. I don't know if there's an answer, people. I don't know if there's an answer for this. It's the same thing. It's the same exact way. I physically cannot believe what I'm witnessing on the ice, especially in terms of Barkov. How is it possible to have not learned anything from the previous experiences? They talk about how Washington has all this experience. Teams need playoff experience. This is their third trip, 3 years in a row. And you count the play-ins, it was playoffs, whatever you want to call it. This is 3 years in a row. And he hasn't figured anything out whatsoever. He gets the puck. They knock him off the puck. There's no fight in this man. There's no fight in him. I don't know that it's fixable. And we can talk about Weegar. We can talk about Brunette needing to light a fire under somebody's ass. But if that's the body language of your captain, I don't know that it's fixable. All right. Oh. Well, there's going to be a lot of decisions that are going to need to be made during this off season. And I can tell you something. I didn't want to say this, but I'll say it now. I believe it was after the second period of game 1. Pretty sure it was after the second period. It might have been after the first. They had, I was done recording in here, and I was walking past, and they were doing the little interview that they do with the player once in a while, and they were interviewing Claude Giroux. And the look on that man's face, you could see it in his eyes. The look on his face was, shit. I think I might have picked the wrong team. You could see it in his eyes. That was his first experience with these guys in the postseason. And you could just see that he was thinking, oh shit, these guys don't get it. They don't know how to elevate their level of play. Can that be taught? Genuine, honest question. Like for you guys who have played hockey, is it teachable? Can Giroux pull Barkov aside and be like, hey, kid, wake up? Or is it just as simple as you either have it or you don't? Because if Barkov's not going to learn from experience, and he can't learn by watching somebody else, I mean, if he can't learn from watching what Ovechkin did on the ice tonight, that should be, in fact, answering my own question here. Because if Barkov, what he should do is spend all day tomorrow. I don't want him at practice. I don't want to hear about him working on shit. Lock Barkov in a room with just an isolation tape of Alex Ovechkin's game tonight. And you tell this kid, you either can do that or you can't. He's got the physical ability, but does he have the mental capacity to do it? Is he capable of having the mental strength to elevate his level of play? Because if he can't, we see what's happening. He's the captain. The team is going to go as Barkov goes. All right. Anybody new, I'd really appreciate subscribing, because I was hoping for a long run to get me to 2,000 subscribers after 6 years of this hell. So if you could do the honor of subscribing now, that'd be great, because it doesn't look like I'm getting a long run. Again. 6 years or nothing. Yeah. So, if you're new to the channel, I appreciate you watching this long. Share the video. I'm doing NHL stuff as well now, so if you enjoy this style, once my health is a little bit better, I'll be having even more videos. Right now, I'm also doing the Tampa-Toronto series, and if the Panthers lose, I'm going to have a lot of friggin' free time on my hands. See you guys in the morning with Stil.